How to buy your first rental property and beyond. Are you looking for some passive rental income? Are you ready to start making money in real estate? Well, I have rental properties and it has provided me some awesome income and an awesome life, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same thing. Let's go. So rental property has been an amazing thing for me. And one of the biggest benefits of rental properties is that it doesn't require for you to have a lot of money. Most people think that you need a ton of money to start getting rental properties or to get your first rental property. And the fact of the matter is that is not true. Rental property has some amazing benefits to it. One, of course, is that you can borrow most of the money for your rental property and the income that you receive comes to you. The second thing that we talk about with rental properties and why I love rental properties is I've been able to sell my rental property. So you get the cash flow from your rental properties, the value is going up as the tenant is making the mortgage payment and the mortgage is going down. So after a few years, you've paid down the mortgage sum, not you, but the tenant has, and the value of the property has gone up. And when you sell the property, there's these large lump sums of cash that you will get. 89% of all millionaires were created so through real estate. And again, most of it is going to be through real estate investing and income producing properties. So let's get into income producing properties, because that's the key. You got to make money with this thing. So when we're talking about getting your first rental property and beyond, you got to start small. So one of the first things that people often do, and a big mistake that they make with rental properties, are they try to go get something that is too expensive, okay? They try to go get something that's too big. And so this is really important. You don't want to start off and get overwhelmed. That's actually how I get most of my properties now, by newbie investors doing the wrong things and then needing to be bailed out. So let me tell you how you really want to start when I say start small. You want to start with a property that's either a single family residence or up to a 4-unit. You do not want to start going out spending millions of dollars or even almost $1 million. But if this is your first rental property and you are new to this game and you want to make money doing this, then again, do not think about these big expensive buildings and all this other stuff. You can make a lot of money with a house. You don't need to spend a lot to make a lot. So know that is the first thing. Another great tactic that you can do and that I recommend that you do is what we now call house hacking. So in order to get your first rental property, most people need financing. And so there's lots of lenders and there's lots of programs for that, especially if it is going to be a property that you're going to live in. Now, I mentioned before, you could start with a single family residence. Well, if you're going to stay there, then eventually you will turn that property to a rental property. You can live there for a few months or whatever, move in, because again, you don't want to commit mortgage fraud, and then you can turn that property into a rental property. And in fact, I have tons of students that actually do it that way. They get 97% or 90 or 100% financing. They move into the property, live in there, establish their residency, and then they turn that property into a rental property and quickly go get another property. So that is a very easy way to do it. But I'm going to tell you a house hack that we do now, and that is where we buy a 2, a 3, or a 4-unit, because those properties are still considered single family residences. Once you move past 4 units to 5 units, then most of the banks and the lenders, they consider that commercial property, and the financing and the terms are a lot different. But if you get a 2, a 3, or a 4-unit, you can live in one of the units and rent out the other units. In fact, if you look around at where I am now, I'm actually in one of my friend's 4 units. This is one of his apartments, okay? And he has 4 of them in this building. They're all 1-bedrooms, and he makes a lot of money per month putting them on Airbnb. Now again, you can just rent them out to tenants or you can put them on Airbnb and you can live in one. So this is an awesome way to start getting rental property and get the most financing where you won't hardly have to put any money down out of your own pocket. Let's get to the next thing because I got another tip for you. So another awesome tip and another great way to get rental properties is to find people that are having a problem with their property. But there are tons of people that are in foreclosure, that are in pre-foreclosure, divorce, bankruptcy, probate, like just all of these issues, unemployment, they lost their job, they got relocated. I mean, just a ton of people out there that have a home that they need to do something with. And in many cases, that can be your first rental property. You can help them out of their situation, usually by just catching the mortgage payments up and doing a few things like that. I'm talking about just a few $1,000s, and literally have your first rental property in a matter of weeks and not have to deal with any banks, any lenders. No one's checking your credit. No one's doing any of those things. And as the bonus, you helped someone that was in trouble. You helped a person that was already going to lose their home, or they had this awful situation, and you turned that into an opportunity for yourself and got you an income producing property. So start thinking like that too. I mentioned that I'm in my friend's quadruplex, okay, so 4-unit, and that he has put his units on Airbnb. Now that's a great way to start making a little bit more money than you would renting it on a monthly basis. However, it does require a little bit more management. But in any situation, whether you decide to go with a tenant that is long-term, that's there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or if you decide to rent your property out on Airbnb and start renting it out on a nightly basis and make it into a property that people can just come and stay for a few nights, both are very, very lucrative, but both will require you to have some knowledge. So in any case, please educate yourself. Please get a property manager if you need to, but you want to pick someone that's going to also teach you the business. You don't want to just get into this business and say that you're going to have lots of rental properties and make an entire business of it and not learn the business. So you can learn the business with your properties. I'm not telling you to wait. Noelle's not telling you think and keep reading and watch more YouTube videos. No, I'm definitely telling you to take action. But when you're taking action, once you get your properties, make sure you keep your learning caps on. Make sure you get as much information from that property manager so that if anything happened, you can manage your property yourself. Knowing what you are doing and knowing that you can do this yourself opens up so many doors for you. So don't forget that part. As a quick sidebar, I've shared with you that I was able to quit my job with rental properties. But I'm going to tell you when I actually was able to skyrocket my income is when I took a lot of my properties that had long-term tenants in them, but I actually stumbled across how to make even more money on my properties through nightly rents, making them into short-term rentals using sites like Airbnb, HomeAway, Expedia, and things like that, where I was able to rent them out per night. And so if you're wanting to learn how to do that and really make even 3-4 times what you would make on a normal rental property, go ahead and check out my course. I've created an entire course just for you guys. It's called bnbriches.com. There's a link below. It's a full training that teaches you how to do this business, how to get properties without spending a lot of money. You don't have to own them to start making money on them. And you can start making a lot of money and skip all the mistakes that I made. I teach you exactly what I'm doing now, how to do it, and cutting out all the fluff. Again, go to bnbriches.com to get your full training so that you can start making tons of money in real estate. This is Noelle. To your success.